So it's been a long time since I've been on the Bronxville Police's Twitter page or X page, and I don't know why DeYoung is still doing this to this guy. Why he's making Satriali fly in from his vacation, come to Bronxville, make him dress up in his uniform, and take pictures with the new officers. Apparently, Bronxville hired two new officers. And Satriali has not a clue what's going on. Satriali doesn't know these people. They make it seem like Satriali hired these people, but the truth is, folks, Satriali does not know who these two people are. And this is the only time, I say it every time, this is the only time he's ever going to meet these people. You know why? Because after he was done taking this picture, he's back on the plane to wherever he was going for vacation. He doesn't know who these people are. But anyway, let's read what it says here. Welcome to the team. Samantha Pina, 6 years NYPD, loves biking, family time, and officer Sydney Newberry, 4 years NYPD, loves hiking with her dog in the gym, have joined the Bronxville Police and ready for field training and excited to serve our community. So these two officers are from the NYPD. And you got to be very careful with the NYPD. As we seen last time with that detective guy, he had a rap sheet that was longer than John Gotti. So let's see how clean these two officers are. Okay, Samantha Pina. Shield number 2993, Hispanic female, officer at Midtown North Precinct, served since November 2019, started service October 2018, made $133,000 last year, 2 complaints, 3 allegations. Let's see. Let's see the complaints. Physical force, abuse of authority, forcible removal to hospital. That was in December 2020. It was, complaint is unavailable. Next complaint is August 2019, abuse of authority, forcible removal to hospital. So she has a pattern here, is what you're seeing. This officer, hold on, I'm guessing this is this lady right here, Samantha Pina, has a pattern of sending people to the hospital forcibly. And she's smiling about it. She's smiling about it. I mean, I don't know exactly the full extent what they mean by forcibly. I mean, did she injure the person? Did she tase the person? Did she beat them up? I mean, she forcibly removed someone. I mean, that could be taken either way. I mean, you can use your imagination of how that happened. But she's smiling after forcibly, I mean, she used force and someone had to get sent to the hospital. I mean, do they do background checks of these people? Do they do background checks? I mean, once again, Satriali's sitting here, and look, you can see Satriali doesn't know what's going on. He looks like he's in outer space. This woman looks like she's holding him up or just standing there next to him. I mean, let's see about her. What's her name? Samantha Newberry. Hold on. Samantha L. Newberry, shield number 2427, white female, officer at the Strategic Response Group 2, served since January 2024, also served at the 52nd Precinct. Service started November 2020, made $103,000 last year. That's a picture of her. It looks like she's some type of ESU officer, or says she's a strategic I don't know all these units with the NYPD. My knowledge of the NYPD is like old school NYPD. I don't know all these new units. But let's see what her complaints are. She has 2 complaints, 2 allegations. February 2020, abuse of authority. Refusal to process civilian complaint. Unable to determine. February 2022, physical force within NYPD guidelines. So that one was, I guess, okay in 2022, but in 2020 is unable to determine, but she did not file or was not able to process a civilian complaint. Now, a civilian complaint could be many different things. It could either be a complaint against an officer, it could be a complaint against a crime, it could be many different things, is what a civilian complaint could be. I mean, I'm guessing if they're saying abuse of authority refuses to process civilian complaint, it's probably a complaint form against an officer, is the way I'm taking it. And that's a picture of her up there. So, and there you see she's smiling as well. So this lady doesn't like to give complaint forms. This lady beats people up and sends them to the hospital. Satriali doesn't know what's going on. And this is what the interim chief, Nick DeYoung, has hired. They do not do background checks in Bronxville of the officers they hire. It proves. It really does prove. I mean, if you watch my last video on the detective guy who had like 8 complaints against him, I mean, they don't do background checks on who they hire at all. I mean, these are crazy. I mean, this lady, in all fairness, I mean, her complaints aren't, but still, you're supposed to give a complaint. If someone has a complaint, you're still supposed to, but I mean, that's really drastic. I mean, this is inappropriate. This is 100% inappropriate. This is inappropriate. Like, this is 100% inappropriate. And why are these people... And by the way, don't you find it suspicious that this lady right here was a member of an elite unit in the NYPD, a response team or something, and now she's just a patrol officer in the Bronxville Police? You know why they do that? I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna expose the Bronxville Police. I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's an overtime thing. It's an overtime fraud thing. They do overtime fraud in Bronxville. I'm gonna tell you a personal story. You see, in Bronxville, if you don't believe me, go to 200 Pondfield Road, Bronxville, New York, police station. Stay out there from like 11 o'clock at night to maybe 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, around shift change. Shift change is around 12 o'clock in the morning. You'll see like the new officers come in, and you'll only see, because there's only 3 officers who work one shift. There's 1 at the desk and 2 on the street. And you would see during shift change, you'd see the new officers come in, and you'd only see 1 officer from the last shift leave. And it's generally the desk officer, the supervisor. He'll leave. So I stood out there one time from like 11 o'clock at night, and I didn't like leave till like probably 6 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't see these officers leave till like 6 or like 7 o'clock in the morning. So I find that very suspicious. So the officers, they do overtime fraud. Like, I'll tell you another personal story. Like, the supervisors, and I know I don't want to personally name it. I mean, well, I'll drop a name here. The interim chief now, Nick DeYoung, he's guilty of this. He'll work for or he did. He would work for like 4 hours, and then he would go home. And remember, there's only 3 officers who work one shift. So if the desk officer leaves and there's 2 officers on the street, there's only 1 officer on the street. So that means that those 2 officers, they might take turns sitting at the desk, but there's only 1 officer on the street. So the supervisors leave early. The patrol officers do overtime fraud. So it's very suspicious. And the only reason I could think of why these NYPD officers come up to Bronxville is so they can collect like overtime money or do some type of overtime fraud, because it's very suspicious. Because generally when you hire new officers, they would go through the police academy, or they would, you would hire a fresh like new officer who took the exam for Bronxville, the civil service test, and you would put them through the police academy and all that. But it costs money. And Bronxville doesn't have that type of money because they're pocketing the money. And Satriali doesn't know about that. This is a man who doesn't know what's going on. So you can't blame him for this. I mean, I guess you can in a way, but, he doesn't know what's going on. No one, the mayor doesn't know what's going on. Mr. Palmer. I tried speaking to Satriali about this a long time ago, but if you even call Bronxville and say you want to leave a voicemail for Satriali, because he's never there. I mean, it's true. He is never there. If you want to even leave a voicemail, they don't put you through to him. You know why? Because they don't want to get caught in the overtime fraud thing. That's why. So that's the only reason why they hire officers from different departments, like especially the NYPD, so they can come up here and do overtime fraud. That's what it is. But anyway, let's continue. So here's another one. Like I said, I haven't been on their Twitter page in a long time. Here's another guy they hired from the NYPD. And once again, Satriali is here. He's shaking the hand of this guy. This is the only time Satriali is going to meet this man. Satriali has not a clue who this man is. Let's see what it says. Excited to welcome Officer Paul, I'm going to butcher the name here, Cozzolano, to the Bronxville Police. With 2.5 years of experience and background in college basketball and love for dogs, he is ready to serve and connect with our community. Currently in field training. Say hello when you see him around. Okay. So this is another guy from the NYPD. He's happy to be there. Let's see if he has any complaints or anything like that. Okay, here we have Paul J. Cozzolano, shield number 23132, white male, officer at the 50th Precinct, served since March 2023, started July 2022, made $81,000 last year. There's a picture of him, and he has no complaints. So this is actually a good thing here. This is a good thing. This is perfect. This is perfect. This is what I'm talking about. This is perfect. Finally, they got it right. So this guy is as clean as a hound's tooth. Clean. This guy has no complaints. Now, you see, if they would stick to doing something like this, this is perfect. This is perfect. This is 100% perfect. Like, this guy has no complaints. No complaints. At all. This is perfect. I don't know if he's here for the overtime fraud thing. I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I don't know the guy. Maybe he just transferred because he wanted to get out of New York City. I don't know. But it's very suspicious when people like that detective guy transferred. I mean, when you're a detective in New York City, and you transferred to a village that no one's heard of, it's suspicious. When you're part of some type of a SWAT team or some type of tactical team in New York City and you transfer out of there, that's suspicious. It is really suspicious when you are forcibly beating, or I'm not saying that woman beat people up. I don't know what that woman did, that Samantha girl. But those are serious allegations, by the way, saying she sent someone to the hospital. That's what it said. I mean, those are serious accusations. Sending people to the hospital with force, I mean, that's serious. Maybe she was running away from that too. I don't know. But it's suspicious. But this guy right here, if you see this guy, shake his hand, because this guy has no complaints. This guy is good. This guy is good. That guy is good. And Satriali seems somewhat, still zoned out. Satriali doesn't know what's going on. But anyway, that's the Bronxville Police. There's something wrong going on here. Something's really wrong going on here. They fell off ever since Cavallo left. Well, since they fired Cavallo, since they fired DiBenedetto, since they fired Unridge, they fell apart. And now they're hiring NYPD officers. This guy is good, though. This guy's good. But they're hiring criminal NYPD officers. And who knows where Matthew Stein came from? That guy is a constable. If you see him, you should definitely be afraid. That guy tie you up with rope. But this is what the Bronxville Police is now. I mean, this is inappropriate, but it's definitely some type of overtime fraud thing.